Hey everyone, Felipe here. Welcome to another Tower of Saviors card review video. In this video, I'll be taking a look at one of the Tenacious Verb jackpot cards, Volcanic Draco-flame, Milton. He is going to be a Fire Dragon card, and I'll be taking a look at his Leader skill, Team skill, and Active skill, and letting you know whether this card is worth pulling for or not. So, taking a look at his Leader skill first, we have when the team has only dragons, your team attack increases by 6 times, HP increases by 3 times, the character launches no attacks. By dissolving character runestones, team attack increases by 6 times additionally, and if no character runestones are dissolved in the first batch, your damage received gets decreased by 40%. Now taking a look at his team skills, we have that when the leader is Milton, we have that Milton and Bahamut will have a -6 CD reduction after entering the stage. Members with an additional effect in play will get a ×3 attack bonus. Damage will be dealt regardless of fixed combo shield, and the first 9 runestones to be dropped will be fire runestones. Additionally, every time a dragon activates an active skill, Milton and Bahamut will get a -1 CD reduction to their active skills. In my opinion, this is going to be a pretty bad uh, leader, and from the get-go, I'm just gonna say I do not recommend using Milton as a leader at all. ×6 is pretty standard. You also get another team attack ×6 additionally, but that comes with the requirement that you have to dissolve character runes. Character runes are not necessarily the easiest to work with, especially if you have traffic light runes, which is a very common enemy skill. If there are traffic light runes, you are not able to start with your character runes because you are not starting from the green position, and that means that you will not benefit from the ×6 attack bonus, and being left with just a ×6 is going to make your damage pretty mediocre. Additionally, HP ×3 is pretty nice. However, Dragon recovery is pretty bad. Even Jitsun, which has a pretty good HP pool, has a team skill that increases your HP if you do 15 or more combos. Kehun has the hidden weapon mechanic where you can recover HP if there are hidden weapons left. But as you can see, Milton has no way of recovering HP. So even though your HP is going to be pretty high, your recovery is going to be pretty shit and pretty bad, which means that if you take a hit, you will struggle to recover it, and eventually this is going to pretty much bring you down to 0 HP, especially with how hard enemies are hitting in the current meta. So overall, I think that Milton's mechanics are pretty bad. Uh, your damage is tied to character runes, which might be a bad thing. Usually, whenever someone has a condition with character runes, race runes also help, but in this case, you can only rely on character runes and not race runes. Additionally, even though this members with an additional effect in play attack ×3 sounds really nice, and it sounds like it would be perfect for Novalis, the problem is Milton does not have any runestone possession effect. So even though your first 9 runes will be dropped will be fire runes, this does not benefit Novalis because Novalis is a dark attribute member. And as far as I know, there's no particular good card with an additional effect as a fire dragon. Which means that yeah, your leader skill is going to be pretty bad, especially because you don't have that runestone possession effect. If you have fire runes is the same effect as other attribute runes, this team skill would be amazing, and this would allow you to run Novalis no problem. However, because it requires you to have an additional effect and play with the card, it basically is going to be very situational, and it might only apply to specific cards and have very little effect. So overall, I do not recommend running Milton as a leader at all. So now let's take a look at his active skill. His active skill is going to be CD5 for 2 rounds. Upon skill activation and at the end of each round, dragons will enter a hyper state, and you can turn fire runes into enchanted dragon fire runes, and turn heart runes into enchanted runestones of the leader's attribute. If the leader is a dragon, beast, or elf, damage received from scorching areas will be decreased by 80%. So at least the active skill is going to help um, Milton a little bit, because this will allow all dragons to enter a hyper state for 1 round. And this is going to be for 2 rounds, which means that they can benefit from the ×3 team skill from him. But that also means you're relying on your active skill to enter that hyper state. So overall, this helps his leader skill, but I still do not recommend him running him as a leader, especially because we have Kehun and Jitsun, which are better dragon leaders. CD5 is pretty slow, pretty fast. I'm sorry, and that could allow you a 100% uptime on this hyper state if you benefit from this skill CD reduction by bringing, for example, um, Weaver, which is the dragon sniper, fire dragon sniper, which has a CD1. So that way you can activate this skill and benefit from it easily, but you will be sacrificing a team slot. But if you're able to do that, you can benefit from the hyper state for 1 more round. But again, you still need to dissolve character runes to get your max damage, and that is going to be pretty tedious and sometimes not possible. However, this skill is going to be really good and definitely worth getting, only because of the Scorching Areas effect. As of now, Milton is going to be the only card that will prevent you from taking extra scorching damage. Scorching damage is pretty bad and pretty killer for high skydrop teams. So being able to reduce that damage by 80% is going to be great and be really good as well. So definitely a recommended card as a utility card because it counters scorching areas, and that is going to be a very unique skill to have. So definitely, if anything, I would recommend getting Milton just for this scorching area reduction, and he would fit really well in a Chloe team because this way you don't have to worry about scorching areas and you can dissolve the entire board without worrying. But also, it will be beneficial for high skydrop teams where scorching areas becomes more of a problem. But yeah, overall, I do think this card is not a good leader, but he has an active skill that might be worth pulling. There are ways around scorching areas, but being able to ignore them or not worry about them too much is definitely a benefit. That being said, wait for the Lunar New Year's news and then decide whether you want to pull for this card or not. As a leader, I don't recommend him, but as a member and utility card, he is definitely worth considering. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say about this card. Please let me know in the comments if I said anything wrong or if I missed anything. And as always, stay tuned on my YouTube channel for more Tower of Saviors content. For now, stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you next time. Bye everyone!